Girl bosses, that's right. We're back for another amazing week of Girl Boss right here on AFTERBUZZ TV. And this week, my co-host and I are going to be talking about the Motherfuckin Bar Graphs and vintage fashion forums. So all that and more this week on Girl Boss.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Like this song.
Me too. I just don't like the die fast part.
I know, the die fast.
I don't want to die fast, you know? I want to enjoy this life.
I want to enjoy everything that comes with it. And that's exactly what we're doing right here today. We're enjoying everything that comes with being a girl boss and more. And Sophia is showing us just how to do just that.
So she's doing the daggone thing, right?
She's doing her thing, and guess what? We're doing our thing every single week. As you know, I'm your host, Miss Candy Marie, and you can find me on Instagram at Miss Candy Marie and on Twitter at Sweet Kendora TV.
And I'm Domonique Cerita, and you can buzz me on Instagram and Twitter at Domonique Cerita. And today, Miss Mina is not here with us today, but she's definitely here live in the spirit. And we have a special host, Miss Elysabeth, who's joining us on Skype.
Yes, all the way from Chicago. Hey, girl.
Oh, how I miss my girl bosses.
Yes.
Well, everybody, if you want to find me, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DinnerPartyCHGO, and I have some great interviews with Kevin Spacey and Jeremy Piven just up, so you can check that out on the dinnerparty.tv.
I love it.
Check her out. Check her
Now
out.
that's how you do your thing as a girl boss.
Absolutely, I agree.
That is
Yes. So we've got some amazing episodes to talk about this week.
Yes.
Sophia always takes us on so many different journeys,
does
and
she?
this week is no different.
It's not.
It's not. But before we do that, as you know, we have a very special thing that we do here on our show called the Girl
you
Boss
talking about the
Mantra.
Girl Boss Mantra?
Yes, and this is the opportunity where we can pay homage to other girl bosses that are doing their damn thing around the world. So, Miss Dominique, who's your Girl Boss Mantra
You want
this
to hear
week?
mine,
Yes,
honey?
darling.
All right, so actually mine's come from the one and only Miss Angela Maya.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Miss Maya Angelou, girl.
Maya
I'm
Angelou.
tied up in here. Miss Maya Angelou. And it goes, my mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive. And to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style. And she also goes on to say, success is liking yourself. It's liking what you do and liking how you do it.
I love
and
it.
I just love that so much because it is, in the essence of whatever you want to do in life, you want to do it with grace. You want to do it with style. You want to do it with some charisma because it's going to make you original. You know, nobody can do it like how you can. I love it. And then I also love the fact that she said success is liking what you do and liking how you do it. And it goes more until I actually was thinking about Sophia in episode 10. We're going to get into that later. But how she is coming up to success, but is she necessarily liking what she's doing and how she's treating people? That's something for us to talk about later on.
Yes, girl, we're
But
going to get
what
into
about you,
that.
Miss Elysabeth? What's your girl boss mantra today?
Well, first of all, girl boss Dominique, I love that you said Maya Angelou because I think that she is a mentor for all women of all ages till the end of time. I mean, you really couldn't find a better example of someone who moves through the world with grace, with strength, with creativity, with intelligence. So I'm thrilled that you brought her to light. And she also has one of my very favorite quotes. I'll just riff on this a bit. When people show you who they are, believe them. And that's Angelou. And she's just such a stellar woman. So I would say that my girl boss mantra shout out this week is to a rough and tumble kind of chick that I really love, Angelina Jolie.
Yes, I love her.
And her, you know, I run the world my way, and it's my life, and I run it the way I want, not how other people want me to run it, but the way I want to run it. So the quote I have from her is, if I make a fool of myself, who cares? I'm not frightened by anyone's perception of me. So I love that she's just fierce about living her life and making the most out of it. And I also love that stereotypically you might say she's hot, she's sexy, she's kind of tells it like it is. So you might not put her in the philanthropy category, but she does. She does a lot of really good work with children, and I love that she kind of makes that a priority in her life, and so she's a much more well-rounded person that you might just see on the screen. So she's my total girl boss shout out, and rock star you, Angelina.
Yes, Angelina Jolie.
I just want to say
She's
that
fearless.
you,
I love it.
oh my gosh, you ladies always come with such great girl boss mantras every single week, and I'm like, man, how am I supposed to like what am I supposed to do with that?
It's inspiration.
I love it. Well, you know, Maya Angelou and Angelina Jolie, I agree, are two very badass women.
They are.
And I think definitely today, as women step into leadership more and more and more, we need to see more and more women with that, you know, just that everything that those two women have to offer, because they've heavily impacted the ladies in our community so much. And we all know that the ladies in our community, especially during this time of year, you know, we've got so many things going on, so many things that our young ladies are up against. And unfortunately, I have to take the Girl Boss mantra, you know, to a different direction, because we recently had a very tragic event that occurred yesterday evening. If you didn't know, there was a terrorist attack in Manchester, England yesterday, where 22 people lost their lives. Unfortunately, there were young girls, young children, young families that are enduring the Ariana Grande concert, and unfortunately, a bomber at 22 years old, the bomb went off and killed 22 people. But that's not what I want to highlight right now. What I really want to highlight are the amazing people all over the world that are sending positive words of encouragement, strangers, friends and family members that are standing up and supporting all of the victims, and not only the victims, but also Ariana Grande. So I want to shout out all of you girl bosses around the world that have stopped to send positive words of encouragement and messages, and I want to read some of these messages out loud, because when I saw them myself, I was just like, wow, you know, that's how you come together. You know, what we can't do is we can never bring back the people that lost their lives, but what we can do is stand and support them and their families. They sent positive words of encouragement. We love you, we're with you. You know, we are one. Manchester, you know, we love you forever. There are many celebrities that got involved that sent words of encouragement to Ariana Grande and her fans. And just everybody that had something to say, please, we just want to say thank you, and just to continue to send, you know, words of encouragement and love and support. And on behalf of the Girl Boss AfterBuzz show, we want to tell you that we love you and that we're here for you as well.
And we're sending much healing and light towards your way, for sure.
Yes. Yes.
And our love goes out to you and all the families.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, ladies.
Yes.
Episode 9, Girl Boss talks about that mother-effing bar graph. Now, what did you think about this episode?
I love this episode because you actually get to see the growing of Nasty Girl. This business is really booming. It's taken off. It's growing so much that she can no longer live in her house and work in the same workspace. So something got to go.
Something got to
go. And in this case, she needs new office space. So we actually see her, you know, going out and trying to find that. I love it. Because it's so relatable. A lot of startup companies that are, especially coming from young women, young men, they do everything in their house, and they reach a point where they can't do it both. And you see this happening, and I love it.
Yeah, and it was really crazy, because we're so used to seeing Sophia's apartment looking disarray and so unorganized and so all over the place. But again, like I said last week and in the past few weeks, it's really interesting to see her character grow and mature. You know, and for her to step up and say, you know what, I need office space, rather than trying to operate out of her dysfunctional apartment. Again, I think it also shows that she's growing up and she's really turning into a businesswoman.
Yeah, she's trying her best. Like,
yes.
I really feel like she's trying, and she's meeting some obstacles along the way with the whole credit and everything, but she's trying. Girl, help her, but she's trying.
Yes. So, Miss Elizabeth, what did you think?
Well, so of course I love the episode, and I can see that she's trying, but I think she just strikes me as so immature, and I'm always amazed at just how immature she is. So she goes in and she's trying to rent the apartment, and he's like, can I help you? And she's like, who wants an apartment? I do. I mean, she's like doing a cheerleading thing. And so it's no wonder the guy's completely baffled by her and doesn't take her seriously. So there's this double standard where she wants to be as goofy as she wants to be, and then she's wondering why no one takes her seriously. So I think that the amount of growing up she still has to do is quite remarkable.
Don't forget that she's still 23 years old. She's young. She's a baby.
Hold on, but
She's a baby.
how many times goes, like, when you're in a situation like that? I know sometimes that may happen to you guys and you're thinking it, but you just don't say it out loud. She's the type of person that says it out loud.
Right.
And she has her movements to go with it. So it's actually really funny.
Right.
But
And
it can be immature, but actually
it
kind
is.
of funny.
I mean, you know what?
It's funny.
It is immature. That's just Sophia's character. But we cannot forget, this is this 23-year-old girl who never had money like this. All of these things are first for her. So, like, how would you expect her to act, you know, like any other 23-year-old that just recently came into money?
Yeah.
Like, what do you expect?
I actually thought it was...
So I did expect that she would kind of keep it together. She still doesn't have, and this might be her ADHD, and so I'm glad that
It is. I think it is. I think it is.
the character. But I am waiting for her to get the skill of reading people a little better. You know, she still has trouble holding on to her emotions, and she just slams people when she wants to, because that's her first gut reaction, and that's what she does. So I'm waiting for her to kind of read situations a little better. And what I liked about this episode was that this experience with her father is really helping her learn that skill, right? So life throws things at you, life throws you curveballs, and that's how you learn. So it's not that we mess up, it's how we get up after we've messed up. So here, you know, she's got that setback with her father, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a little bit, but she comes back swinging, and that's where I think we see the growth.
Yes, and I'm so glad that you brought up her father, because you're right. This was a very important part of the season, because we finally started to see her put herself in a position where her father can take her seriously. And Lord knows this man has not taken her seriously at all.
But she tried her best. She dressed up for her dinner. She brought her little boyfriend as a bluffer.
But she did a good job, though.
She had her portfolio business plan, dog. She had a business plan. Shout out to Dex for helping her, because you know she couldn't do it.
Yes.
He helped her. But it was so funny. She was prepared. Like, she was really like going to like a investor, like seeking an investor or something. Like, she had her little portfolio and everything.
This business decision can affect her for the rest of her career.
It can. It really can. And I was just proud of her for asking for help, because so many times you don't want to ask for help, even
Especially
if you really
not Sophia.
need it. Yeah, especially Sophia. You know, she don't want to ask for nobody's help.
No.
So for her to go to her dad and actually ask, and her dad was actually, you know, wanting to help her.
Right.
And then we see how that turns out. But I also thought it was really funny. I like how they highlighted the fact that although she may have the money to buy the office space, she didn't have the credit. And that's a situation that all young adults go through. Like, we may have credit, but we don't have the money, or we may have money, but we don't have the credit. So shoot, I needed credit the other day when I was trying to get my apartment. So I understand you, girl.
Right. Because Lord knows I've been terrified of credit and credit cards and all that other stuff since forever. Because sometimes we think it represents something bad, but not necessarily. You know, when you're trying to grow and create credit and start businesses and things like that. And speaking of which, you know, she did a really great job with the pitch when she did pitch to her father. But unfortunately, it didn't necessarily go in the direction that she wanted it to go. We find her getting angry at her father and saying that her father obviously doesn't believe in her. You know, she feels like, you know what, he didn't believe in me enough to put the building in her name, and it's because she felt like that, and that's what she thinks. Of course, she always thinks the negative first.
I don't know. I think she should have been appreciative that he was even willing to co-sign for her, because realistically speaking, like he said, credit is a big thing. Like, I have my assets and my business and my money and my savings account. If you blow this, you blowing this for me too. So, I mean, what you think, Elizabeth? Would you get mad if that was the case?
Okay, so a couple things here. First of all, there's so very few positive things about getting older, but credit is one of them. So we older people have good credit because you've just been around longer. So there's always that, which is kind of fun. I felt deeply saddened by this, and so I thought, okay, now I get why she's so angry with her father. You know, her father's obviously working. He's in a big fancy building. He's doing well for himself. She's only asking for a 6-month lease. That's not that much money. That's not that much risk. I was really surprised that he couldn't just go with it after the presentation she made. You know, it's not like she was waltzing in ripped jeans and being like, Dad, give me money. She was like, this is what I'm doing. And he couldn't really share in that joy. I mean, she's tried to tell him now so many times. So now I know why she's mad at him. She's tried to tell him so many times, I'm doing something on eBay. I'm one of the best eBay sellers. I turn around clothes. In many different episodes, she's tried to tell him in various ways that she's starting a business and it's going well. and she can't quite get that across to him. And that is really, it's just heartbreaking to me. And that he doesn't just go with her and says like, sure, I'll co-sign for 6 months. I'll do a trial period, not for 3 years, but I'll back you for a little bit. All he has to do is co-sign. I mean, she said she has 3 months upfront cash. Yeah. So really, he's only risking 3 more months.
But you know what else we have to also remember is that her father is so used to this irresponsible, childish Sophia. He's never seen her taking herself seriously at all. This is the very first time she's ever stepped up to the plate. She knows her stuff. Her pitch was on point. She knows her numbers, and he's probably in shock. Like, who is this girl? Like, should I really take her seriously? Is this going to be consistent? You're jeopardizing my savings. You're jeopardizing everything if I were to put my name on the line. So why should I do it?
And he's helping her. He's just not going as far as putting her name on it. Like, he's still helping her. But I just want to say this really, really quick. I love the fact that she stated that the reason why her credit is messed up is due to an old Victoria's Secret credit card that she bought a while back, which I thought was really funny because when you're young and you shop a lot, the first thing whether it's Macy's, Nordstrom's, they always want you to get a credit card. This can help you build your credit. And although it can help you build your credit, a 16, 17-year-old all the way to 21, we don't know how that works, okay? We're going to make that thing go sky high, okay? So I like the fact that she's touching bases on that, because it teaches us how to learn to build our credit and to just wake us up as young adults. Like, hey, this is going to affect you in the future. Don't mess up with credit cards when someone gives it to you. I love that.
Right.
Messing up and learning from that. What I loved about this is, sometimes when things go negative, there's a positive to come out of it, even though you can't see that. And so the positive from her dad not backing her, or at least not backing her in the way she wanted, she and Annie had this great conversation about girls have to do it twice as hard. They have to work twice as hard. And we don't have to take this anymore. We're going to go our own way. And that becomes a very empowering scene. She kind of kicks the door in. She meets this groovy landlord that gets her. And she and Annie have this like girls rocket all the way to the bank kind of moment. And I loved it.
Yes. And speaking of the whole girls rocket thing, the message that I really heard a lot throughout this episode was girls don't have to prove anything to men. Yeah. We saw a lot of the contrast between how men are treated and how women are treated. Like, for example, when she meets this guy to get this office space, he says, "You look like a little girl," and he just doesn't take her seriously. Like, there are so many different examples. So it was really, really cool to see the whole girls coming together, the girl power type thing, and that's something that I feel like we're really starting to see consistently more in these episodes.
I gotta ask you a question. Have that ever happened to you before as a girl boss?
Absolutely. Listen to me. Absolutely. Especially being in the entertainment industry, a lot of the people that are in leadership roles are men. Even being in the tech space that my company's in, you don't meet a lot of women. And then on top of that, you're an attractive woman. And on top of that, you're an educated, attractive woman.
You gotta know who you are.
Exactly. You gotta know it. And the first thing is all people typically see is just your outer exterior first. True. Especially when you have this nice stature about yourself and you walk with your head held high. Those are some of the things that you're gonna encounter, but you have to make them respect you. And I think that is what we saw Sophia's character trying to do with her father as well as with this landlord for this office space.
Sophia.
But
she got her office space.
She's carrying the girl torch, And when he says to her, the landlord, the kind of schmucky one, when he says, "Well, you look like a little girl," and she's like, "Well, what's the harm in that? Like, what's the problem with that?"
Yeah, she's.
And what is the problem with that? And I think, like Candy says, girl boss Candy, it happens all the time today, just as much as ever. I still encounter it all the time. I'm sure you two beautiful, smart women do as well. And it's annoying. And that
annoying.
Can I swear on this show?
Yeah.
That shit's gotta end.
It's gotta end. And you know what else has to end? Haters. And we saw a lot of haters in episode 10 with the vintage fashion forum, because that's all that they are. Gail and the rest of her little posse. They were just nothing but haters.
I'm just like, y'all are so out of... First of all, they selling clothing. Not one of them looks stylish to me. I'm like...
They don't know their audience.
Oh my! But can I just
They're
say
dated.
the way it was filmed, like instead of everybody typing it in, I like how they kind of did like a little white quiet room or a black quiet room, and everybody's like circling around in a little panel or whatever, a circle table. I thought that was like really interesting how they filmed
To
that.
show the digital space, like in a more realistic
talking
way.
Like it too. I was like, oh, that was funny. BRB, like be right back. I was like,
It was just, that was cool. It was really different. It was really very, very good job. I want to definitely Netflix, the creators, the writers, amazing job with that and how they put that whole thing together.
I like what they did there.
That's Kay Cannon, the writer there, and I think she does a great job. And I also want to say shout out to the people who put the music together. I think the music in this series is so fun.
Amazing. Love the music.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny. So, so we actually did hear them. They was trying to basically knock down Sophia's Nasty Girl vintage. They didn't want her to be a part of the group anymore, the former anymore, and they was trying every way possible to make as many bad comments so they can basically turn away her clients or her customers, because she was stealing all their customers. Let's be real. She's booming on eBay right now, and they want to block that from happening. So you see Annie trying to protect her best friend, and she's like logging on and like under a fake screen name of protecting her best friend. Like, no, Nasty Girl is great customer service. The clothing is great. It's a reasonable price. Like, she's backing up her friend, and I love seeing Annie. I like Annie.
I love Annie.
I like Annie.
Annie's such an authentic character. And speaking of, Annie's got a lot going on this episode too. But before, I mean, honestly, it looks like the haters are starting to win. They're starting to pile up on Sophia. And then if you watch the end of this episode, we're not gonna talk about it yet. We see what happens. But before that, Annie, there's a lot going on with her. She's a hard worker. We love her authenticity, but there are also other people that love her too. The job that she currently works at. They just gave her a promotion, to be manager. And she's torn between, should I take this job as a manager or should I work with my best friend doing Nasty Gal?
Yeah.
What'd you ladies think about that?
I thought that was wild, because here it is. You have a job that's guaranteed money, right? And then you have a job that's a possibility of making money, but you loving helping your friend. You have more creative control.
But she knows that it's making money because she sees the money that Sophia's making.
Yeah, but it's a difference when it's something that has like benefits and everything for something that don't have benefits or nothing like that. But I think it's more so for her. She enjoys helping out her friend, and she enjoys that creative control. And maybe even more so the flexibility and the freedom of things. Like she said, I love makeup, but I do really like this too.
Right, so she's good at it.
She's good. She's really good at it. She had a little dream about how far she can go with things, and man, Sophia made me mad because like
she pissed me off.
Can we just go ahead and talk about it?
Yes, girl. Let's get into it.
Mention one thing about Annie. So Annie, if you guys don't mind, so if Annie, to me, she's a fascinating character because she lets in this one little, she's very conservative sometimes. She lets in this one little sentence where she says, I'm not sure I want a career before marriage because I'm afraid it will make me unmarriable. And she pretends like she's joking, but then she gives a look like she's not. So it's interesting because she's really loves to be, and so I'm surprised that Sophia gets threatened by her. She loves to be the background support, and she can do everything from shipping to PR to communications to inventory to organizing, and she can do absolutely. She's so smart. I don't even think she realizes how smart she is. But she has this conservative backseat side to her. So I don't know, what did you guys think about that comment about marriage?
I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because I think that, again, the writers do a really good job with showing the insecurities that some women have that prevent them from being girl bosses or that prevent them from following their dreams because of all these what ifs. I think you just said a great one, Elizabeth, with that comment about, getting married. There are so many women where they're grown up to well, first you have to get married and you have to do all these things first instead of moving to the beat of your own damn drum.
Okay.
Which is what which is what Sophia's character does. But Annie, you've got this super talented young lady that's good at all these different things, but she questions herself and her abilities simply. I mean, honestly, I think it's fear. I think that all of these things are just coming from fear.
I don't know. It's really funny to me too, because when we first met Annie, she seemed like just a one-night stand type of girl. She didn't even seem like a relationship type of girl. And now her role is like kind of being flipped, and I think that's really interesting how they're doing that contrast with her. But I don't know. You brought up a good point. I didn't even hear that in the episode. Maybe I was like in my own little world, but I didn't hear that. But now that you say that, it kind of struck a chord with me, because so many women actually put marriage life over themselves or over their career or what they're actually capable of doing. And it's like, this lifetime, you
because
only
you feel
live
like you have
once.
to choose.
And it's like, forget what society is telling you, like you said, to get married, but also society is telling you the man has to be the breadwinner, the man has to do this, the man has to do that, the woman has to stay home. This day and age, you can do everything you want to do at one time. So I don't even think
so many women feel like they have to choose, you know. And I'm going to be
honest.
Why. At one point in time, I was one of those women that felt like I had to choose, and unfortunately, you know, I was in a position I didn't choose my relationship, you know. And honestly, that is the reality for a lot of people. Do I have to choose because maybe their partner may not want to compromise, or they may not be on the same page? It's just so many things that go into that that women have to face, you know. Taking care of the kids, you know, taking care of your husband. It's just so many things that are put into that. So I think this was really interesting, a great conversation starter for women to have.
She's so young though. She's
young, but she's like 23, 24. So a lot of people, a lot of cultures, a lot of the women they get married early. They start having kids at a very young age. And if you think about it, 23, 24 is about the average age that a lot of women are getting married today.
Ooh, child.
It's the truth, though. It's the truth.
I'm 25 and I'm fabulous and fly. Honey, ain't thinking about no marriage right now.
Right. And you know who's definitely not thinking about marriage right now? That is Sophia.
That's why sometimes 50-50. She's my girl sometimes, and sometimes I look at her sideways. Because
I appreciate her mindset sometimes.
Like I said, sometimes I love her, and then sometimes I look at her sideways because it's like I appreciate her wanting to do everything for herself. I think no matter what, as we've seen so far, the one thing that she's sure of is her company so far. She's so confident. She can be mean and nasty, rude, vindictive, manipulating sometimes to other people, selfish towards other people, but she takes her time when it comes to her customers and her brand.
Yes, that's true, but what she needs to do is she needs to value her friend Annie a little more. I was really pissed off. I thought it was amazing when Annie stepped up. It was definitely a slap in the face when Annie stepped up and was like, hey, I think we can do this together. Because I agree. You know, that's the issue, is that Sophia thinks that she can do it alone. And I get it, Sophia. You know, you've had all these issues, and, you know, your mom left when you were 12 and you can't talk to your dad. But baby girl, again, this is where you got to put those big girl pants back on, and you got to think bigger picture. And she's not doing that right now.
Yeah. You think it's ego?
Absolutely.
I think part of it is, I hate to say this, but a little bit of cruelty. I mean, I'm just going to quote here verbatim. She says, "There's no job for you here." Now, you'd have to be blind as a bat to not see that her gal pal Annie is like doing it all.
She is.
You know, cleaning up behind Sophia, you know, as Sophia runs rampant with the vision, and I totally respect that, girl boss after my own heart. But Annie's like making it all happen behind her. She says, "There's no job for you here." And she says, "An intern could do what you do, and you're replaceable."
You're replaceable.
You're replaceable.
That's what hurt me when she said you're replaceable.
And that's so not true. When you have people that work for you, people are not replaceable. And that's the thing. I think that, like, for me, like,
that's your friend.
With my company, like, it's so important that I feel like you value the people that work for you, because when you value them and you treat them right, they come and they
work for you.
Exactly. They come and they work for you. And that's what Annie's doing it for all the right reasons, but Sophia's trying to be selfish. She's trying to make it about money right now.
Yeah. And I think also, the only reason why I say I think it may be a little bit about ego, because she kept saying, this is my business. Like, she wants to be known, this is mine. And it's like, yeah, and that's what kind of how I felt about her father putting his name on the thing. She's like, no, this is my business. Your name don't have to be on it. But it's like, you don't have to keep, when something is yours, everyone will know it without you even having to say it. You know what I'm saying?
They already do.
So it's like, I just didn't understand that. More so importantly, you can't do anything by yourself. You need a good solid team.
Right.
And to say that to your best friend.
Your best friend. But like, you know what? Her best friend said the right words to her. Fuck you.
Yes.
That's what she said. She said, fuck you. And you know what? I applauded her the whole entire time when that whole scene was going on. And I was like, you know what? You damn right, Annie. Screw you, Sophia. If that's how you feel, screw you.
Yeah. But this is what I found interesting. So, you know, Sophia Amoruso, she actually prides herself from being kind to everybody, matter if they're the janitor, the assistant, whoever. She likes to be kind to everyone because you never know what position they may hold later on in the future. So you see this contrast in this Sophia Marlowe character, and she's the opposite. And I wonder what Netflix was actually getting at with having the different last names. Is that why they didn't want us to think that this was actually Sophia's story and that she was actually nasty and rude to certain people? You know, I really want to know why they did that difference between the two last names. What you think, Elizabeth?
Well, I'm not sure, but it kind of threw me because I didn't see the Marlowe coming, and I was like, have I misunderstood something? So it kind of threw me. You know, you make up a great point because, you know, they do say in the beginning, this is a loose telling of the tale, very loose. So they do let us know early on that it's really not her life step by step, but maybe they're trying to distance themselves a little bit here. I also want to say I'm super proud of Annie. Not just because she says, all right, I'm out of here, but because she takes the hard stance and she says, I'm out of our relationship, I quit us, which is so hard to hear. But when your best friend says you're replaceable, she's not just saying you're replaceable at work. She's saying, I don't care about you. And when people treat you like that, another Maya Angelou quote. When people show you who they are, you have to believe them. So,
you believe them.
Girl.
Yes.
What they say, fool me once, shame on me. No, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Yes. And
you teach people how to treat you. And so you have to stand up for yourself. In fact, last week we were talking about it. My girl boss mantra was, you'll never regret sticking up for yourself. And when someone treats you that bad, like Sophia did, you got to stick up for yourself, and that might mean leaving.
And sticking up and leaving is exactly what Annie's character did in this big fight. Was very, very hurtful and very unfortunate. But guys, what we have to do at this time is we have to give our predictions for next week. We're going to give some predictions. So Elizabeth, let's start with you, babe.
Girl Boss E.
Your AfterBuzz TV.
Well, so we end this episode with eBay putting her out. So I think, and you know, we kind of saw it coming because she treated Shane poorly and then she treated Annie poorly. So I knew she was just going to get smacked upside the head. So I think we're going to see her scramble to save her business because right now without eBay, she can't sell anything. So we're going to see her make that shift from eBay to her own nasty gal place. But I don't know how it's going to go down with Annie, just because I think she's going to get business back on track because we know the story. I don't know that Annie's going to be as easy as the business. So we'll have to see how that plays out.
I think it's actually really, really funny that she got kicked out of eBay. And this is the reason why her website actually came about so early, because her website wasn't planned to come out until a few years later. So she had no choice but to put her website out in order to, you know, keep her customer, clientele, everything going. My predictions, I think that her mama is going to show up.
What?
And, I don't know if it's going to be episode 11 or episode 12, but I know her mom is going to show up and make an appearance.
Interesting.
I'm interested to see what that conversation is going to go about. Maybe her mom will give her a little bit of peace of, you know, why she left the way that she left, so that she can understand her life forward, and moving forward she won't be so nasty, so kind, so selfish, so vindictive. She'll have a change of heart and continue on nasty girl with, you know, a new way of thinking, a new mind, a new outlook. I'm hoping for that for her.
Ladies, great predictions. Now, the one thing I have to say is the great thing about girl bosses all over the world is that just because something goes wrong doesn't mean that we don't know how to bounce back. And that's what we've seen a lot throughout this season with Sophia's character is her ability to bounce back. So I'm really excited, just like you mentioned, Domonique, to see what happens with, you know, the fact that now eBay says, look, you are suspended indefinitely, and what is she gonna do? You know, how much time is it gonna take for her to pull it all together? Is she gonna try and do it by herself? Is she gonna throw, you know, is she gonna, you know, just say, hey, you know what, Annie, I'm sorry? Is she gonna suck it up and apologize to her and say, hey girl, let's do this together, let's work together? Is she gonna put her pride to the side?
I really mean it.
I don't know what it is that you keep thinking her mama's gonna come back. I don't know about that. I can't see it. But what I am seeing is that I really, really hope that she puts her pride to the side and that she allows Annie to take this business to the next level with her. Yes. Now, ladies, great predictions. Now, one more thing I do want to do, and this is what we try to do every single show, guys, is we try to give you some fun facts to kind of enlighten you and educate you on things that you may not know about Sophia and the Nasty Girl brand.
Well, actually, the fun facts actually collaborated in with the conversation, so it's such a smooth transition.
Okay, I like how you did that.
Didn't even see that, did y'all? But actually, I did went ahead and went through with the fun facts, but another thing I was actually thinking when you was closing out was the difference between the actual book and the actual story.
Okay.
So the book for me was more of a guide, like a how-to guide, how to become successful, how to make this happen, how to do that. And I think with the actual story, it is a loose telling, but it's more funny, it's more edgy. You know, you get in the background story, but in a exaggeration way.
Okay.
So I appreciate that what they're doing here. But yeah, I said my fun facts, girl.
All right.
But we got contests. We can talk about the
We
contest.
do have contests. Miss Elizabeth, do you want to share the contest with our fans?
Oh my word. Well, okay. So Mina's been running this contest for us. And so what you have to do, everybody, and we're going to pick at the very last show, which will be the very last after show, which will be June 6th. So dress up in your girl boss outfit, and that might be the thing that makes you feel sexy, or the thing that makes you feel powerful, or the things that make you just think, okay, I'm going to walk into the room and everyone's head's going to turn because I rock it. Whatever it is, show us your outfit and on Instagram, please, and hashtag ABTV Girlboss, AFTERBUZZ TV Girlboss, and tell us why you love that outfit. And at the end, we're going to pick the very best outfits with the very best sayings attached to them, and we're going to read them on air, and you might be winning something special.
Yes, and that something special is going to be the opportunity to come on air with us for season 2 and to be one of our very special guests. But you can also look forward to us, the Girl Boss hosts, posting our great outfits and videos of our wardrobes and telling you why it makes us the Girl Boss that we are today. Now, ladies, before we close out, do you want to leave our viewers with any final sayings or things?
We love you.
We love you all, Girl Boss, and I just want to say thank you to everybody on Twitter who responds back to us, who mentions us, and they like the show. So many people say that they really, really enjoy how much we are personal and share a little bit of ourselves. So many people say we drive them to even binge watch the season. So we just thank you so very much. Continue to support us and just join on that contest.
Yes, yes. Anything from you,
I would like
Elizabeth?
to say to our guests who are watching, our viewers who are watching, if any of you have any stories about how men underestimated you and you went on to kick ass, I'd love to hear it.
Yes, I would love to hear it too. We would all love to hear it.
Sure, I want to hear y'all stories.
Listen, we want to hear all of it. And most importantly, ladies, one of the things that I want to leave you with is that your gifts will make room for you. For me, when I think about Sophia and her struggle and everything that she's been through, and even a little bit of my own, your gifts will always make room for you. As long as you have faith and as long as you put in the work, they can't help but make room for you. Also, I just want to tell you that, I just want us all to continue to pray for the victims that lost their lives yesterday. And if we can just all continue to send love and support, not just in times of need, but just on a consistent basis, because it's very important that we value the people that are in our lives while they're in our lives, before something crazy happens. Okay, so again, thank you guys so much for tuning in to another great episode of Girl Boss on AfterBuzz TV. I am your host, Miss Candy Marie, and you can find me on Instagram at Miss Candy Marie and on Twitter at Sweet Candor TV.
What's up, what's up, what's up? And I'm Domonique Cerita, and you can buzz me on Instagram and Twitter at Domonique Cerita. Make sure you download our podcast on iTunes. It is free $99, and join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m.
Everybody, if you want to find me, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at DinnerPartyCHGO, and you can check out my celeb interviews at thedinnerparty.tv. See you next week. Mwah, 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 mwah.
AfterBuzz TV. See you later, Girl Bosses.
Bye, ladies.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.